Hello, welcome to Rewrite Your Reality with Adis. I am your host. And the question that came from a comment, which was, how long does it take to manifest your dream life? Cool question, typical question about time and how time relates to reality and how things unfold. What are you really asking when you're saying how long does your desired end take to manifest? Here's the thing. Time doesn't create anything. Time is the experiencing of a life, a version of you that experiences a certain experience, right? When you put something in the microwave, is something cooked at the third minute, or is it cooking throughout the processing of it? Time, it doesn't relate to the creation of something. It's the experiencing of the process for a certain end, right? So the time isn't creating the thing. The creation of it is experienced through time. We do this all the time, but we don't ever ask these questions, right? So I came up with the example, which I thought was quite funny because it was, I expanded the example later on. So this is the expansion of the example, right? So here's the metaphor. Imagine every single desire, every idea, every story that you could have. Imagine they all exist within you, they do, and imagine they exist in this unseen dark part of your imagination. They are anything you could possibly want, right? Imagine that it's in this enormous freezer of imagination that you have. They're just cold storage, they're just there. Blocks of ice. And in the real world, the 3D world, the 3D real world that we consider real, where we have real experiences, right? You took out one of those blocks of ice, and you take out a block of ice in your imagination, and you're holding it there in your imagination, you're holding it you're holding the ice in the 3D, right? You consciously did that. You consciously took the ice cube out of the freezer, you consciously took the story, the frozen idea, and put it as your new focus. Right? You took it out. Now, when does the ice cube in either place start to melt, as in start to unfold, as in start to become the idea of the unfolding? Does it happen when the ice cube is starting to melt in your seeing, with your eyesight? Or do you know the moment you took it out of that fridge? The moment you took it out of the fridge, you had the intention that this is the ice cube I'm taking out the fridge. Here we go. It started to melt. The moment you took that imaginational scene out of the unseen and you said, here we go, it's starting to melt because I chose that one. Now you can see why it doesn't take time for the processing of your imaginational scene to start, your dream life to start. Right? It doesn't. It's started the moment you took it out. It's the same with manifestation, right? That is manifestation. I want this car. I want this relationship. I want to be on stage. They're all just frozen blocks of story, right? You're taking out that frozen block of story. You're popping it into your focus as a focus. You're focusing on this idea that it's all automatic. And because your awareness is this creative energy, this creative force, the energy that created it and now is experiencing the creation of it, that's the process, right? You've taken the ice cube and you just left it down. Yeah, sure, you can put it under hot water and it'll go, right? But then you're not experiencing the ice cube. Like, what have you done with this ice cube? You just want to watch it melt, then put it under the water, it's gone. But typically you want to experience the ice cube for some reason. You want to experience the idea. You want to experience the relationship. You tend to think because of the time it takes to unfold, where it's unfolding right now, the time as the unfolding. Unfolding is the time, and time is the unfolding. The unfolding of it is the experiencing of time, as you call it. If you don't see it yet, it must not be happening. If the ice cube in your hand isn't melting yet, but you don't ever consider it, you know it's melting. You just rush back to put it in the freezer, but it's already melted. Certain parts of it are gone. If I don't feel different, it must not be working. The moment you put the ice cube in your hand from the freezer, you feel the coldness of it. It's already done. It's already happening. The moment you take that ice cube out the freezer and you feel the coldness on your hand, it has started. Immediately. Any change is immediate change. Any change in temperature of an ice cube that is felt, that is known, is the change. And any change is complete change. It's like staring at the ice and saying, stop melting. When you know it's melting. You know it's starting to melt. You're trying to save whatever you can by putting it back, right? But if it's not 100% what it was, it's 99.99, it started. You wouldn't think that it's not melting if you took it out and you didn't see water pooling in your hand. You felt the coldness of it, you know it's starting to melt, right? So every idea, every desire, everything exists in that form, in that frozen form. And here's the thing. Reality is done. So even though it exists in that frozen, completed form, it also exists in that melting form, in that experiencing form. It also exists in the completed melted form, as in the experience that you call forth. When you're imagining an ice cube melted, that's your end typically. But you have to experience it via taking the ice cube out the freezer, holding it in your hand, experiencing the melting, thus it is melted, but you know it's getting there. You take your dream out the freezer, you hold it in your hand, you experience it melting, and then you experience that version that you embodied. But you are the entirety of it in one go. All those points exist right now. You are just shifting to which version, which ice cube, which idea, which dream life you are deciding to look at. You don't melt it. No matter what you think you are doing to make it happen faster, you're not doing it, it's just natural. Yes, if your desire is to have the fastest dream life humanly possible, as in to melt this thing as fast as humanly possible, you're going to throw it in boiling water. It's going to disappear like that. Sure, that is a part of life, and we often experience very intense moments of bliss quickly, and they go, but ultimately, your typical dream life is a life being lived, right? Your job isn't to make it go faster. You are experiencing the unfolding. You're assuming that this is what's unfolding. You're assuming the ice cube, the idea that you have taken up from the unseen, the freezer, is melting, is unfolding. That's your assumption, because that is what's happening, right? The unfolding is part of that final melted scene that you have chosen. You can't force the outcome. So the time it takes is literally nothing. Because the time of the unfolding is the experiencing of your desired end as the character, as the idea, as the dream life. Just like an ice cube takes no time to start unfolding because it already exists in that melted and melting form. Simultaneously, you are just experiencing it melt, you are experiencing it melting, you are now experiencing the melted version of it. Your dream life does not take time to happen. It's happening. You are the happening. You are the dream life. You are reality. You are the ice cube melting and your dream life unfolding simultaneously. The ice is already melting. You are already moving. You are already done. You already exist as everything. Even if your physical senses, your eyes have not caught up, because you have to acknowledge and experience linearly what you want to experience, right? An ice cube isn't going to materialize melted, because then there's no experience. There is no experience if you don't experience the ice cube solid, melting, melted. You want the experiencing of this. There is no experience if you don't start your dream life at some point, even if you have chosen the end. There's no experiencing if you don't experience it. That's the part people don't typically like. The wondering if it's happening, which is the beginning of all things typically. That's what you think. That's what you're doing. You're at this point of stillness where an old assumption met a new one. and you coalescing, you integrating, hey, this was an old assumption that I had. This is an old part of reality that I had. It's not really old, it's just previous, unaware, asleep, unconscious as an experience, but it is there. You're integrating it, saying, no, okay, that was who I was. Now I am that I am. Now I am that I am. Now I am that I say I am. I've taken myself out of the freezer and now I am melting into this melted state that I desire to be. My experiencing of that melted state to that melted state and onward, because there is more after my desired end, as that character, I was unaware of it, is the life that I've chosen to live. And I'm choosing to live it right now, regardless if I see myself melting or not. You're just taking yourself out the freezer. Stop taking yourself out the freezer over and over again. You are melting, melt. Experience it. You are unfolding, unfold. Experience it. So here's that mind shift. Mindset shift. That's it. That you're not waiting for anything. You are building an experience. You are experiencing an experience. You're not building it from scratch. You are experiencing what already you built as the creator. You are tuning into the version of yourself that already has the desire, the part of that end that you want, that you're experiencing. You are tuning into the version of yourself that already has that entire end and so much more. And I'm not saying so much more so you can forget about your end. I'm saying your end is nothing more than a notification of a full life that you have lived. You are choosing that as your experience of life. It's not just that end. It's not just, I want that car in my driveway. No, you want the life that has the car in your driveway. You are the life that has the car in your driveway. Otherwise, you would not be aware of it. You don't chase the car in your driveway. You unfold into an as that identity that has it right now. Just like how an ice cube melts immediately in your hand when you take it out the freezer. The sensation of it being cold in your hand is indication that it is melting. You're knowing that you have taken it out the freezer. You're knowing you have pulled this idea out of the unseen is the evidence that it's unfolding. So this doesn't take time. It takes awareness that you have pulled it out and it has started, because it has. It takes awareness that you are already living this life. It takes awareness that the idea within your imagination, within your awareness, the idea existing in its fullness, that you are a version of yourself living this idea. A version of you is living this idea. You have called this idea forth. It takes awareness that you have done that. Acceptance that you have done that. Consciousness that you have done that. Consciously knowing that I have done this, I've set this intention in motion because I am the creator. That's the evidence. So, thank you for the question. Thank you for being here. Thank you for anyone, for all the people who have messaged me about these kind of things. Thank you for the comments. Thank you for the following, the sharing, the liking, and subscribing. Much love. Facebook group available if you want to join and drop questions there. TikTok page blowing up as well, that if you want to ask questions there and see other forms of this content. So, this is Rewrite Your Reality with Reese. Infinite love, infinite light, and I will see you all in the next one. And remember that next video, the previous video, and this video all exist at the same time. It is nothing more than each individual unfolding of the lives that we are living.